The people say TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. Wow. The week went by so fast, and it's great that we can be back here again in the issues room, this time with our 154th edition. I'm Volcano Shelton, welcoming you wherever you are this evening to this broadcast. It's 7 p.m. here on the East Coast in the United States of America. We're broadcasting in the Philadelphia area, the state of Pennsylvania. Today is May 19, 2023. What a wonderful way to begin this broadcast. We're going to be discussing a lot here tonight, but the theme is centered around the former president of Liberia, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, who served 12 years as president, and also she's the first known female president on the continent of Africa since we started government, put it that way. So again, great conversation here. We're going to be looking at Ellen, why she's so involved in Liberian politics at this time. I believe she's anywhere peaking around the age of 80. You would think that she would be chilling, relaxing, and just fading and gliding away, but instead, she's still meddling. She's still pushing conversations. What is she trying to protect, or who is she trying to protect? Is she the ultimate voice for the Liberian people? If Ellen says, this is it, this is what I want, is that what it's going to be? We're going to be looking at Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. Also, we're going to be coming with the conversation we had last week that had to do with, past Tuesday, that had to do with the legislative staffers who actually didn't go to the opposition legislators, but in terms of aggrieving the benefits and so forth, they went to endorse them. And now we see a new situation coming up with the CDC-led people in the House, put it that way, and their staffers endorsing their, candidates as well. So again, we say thank you for joining us. Spread the word. We're here on Tuesdays and Friday Eastern Standard Time, and in the Greenwich time zone will come your way at 11 p.m. Our broadcast is The Alternative here on social media platform. Help us to share the word, invite others. We'd like to welcome Fergie Moyu. Thank you for joining us. Favor, Mercy, Grace. It's good to see you here tonight. It's going to be a good conversation, so please hang around. Continue to share the word. We're looking forward to all of you joining us here tonight. Moses Sandy, Alphonso, gentlemen, welcome. It was just an intro. We just wanted to give people the highlights of what we're going to be talking about. Oh, and by the way, what type of country is this? We're looking forward to bringing that segment tonight. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Volcano and Moses. Glad to be with you all again. As you said, Volcano, in the intro, this is a great topic, and I think it will be fascinating discussing it. So with you all,
And we hope that at some point we'll open the line so that people can come and weigh in, chime in. And that number to call will be 404-272-2808. 404-272-2808. The line will open at some point during the show. But gentlemen, we're back here, and we just wanted to quickly clarify the air that last week, I keep saying last week, but last Tuesday, we just had a broadcast where we kind of feature a video clip from the legislature with some staffers who were in the chambers, and Moses took the side of the government. He said it was wrong, and we had a heated debate around it. But our assumption was that those staffers were petitioning the legislators who were there, that comprised Yambli Kanga, Darius DeLone, James Barney, if I recall, Prince Moyi, and the rest of those guys in the opposition camp. And later, when we went back to check, it was not the case. It had to do with them endorsing those guys and endorsing, apparently the UP party. So just a day after, the seditions legislative staffers came back and said that they were a legitimate group and that they were endorsing their party as well. And they had a lot of sedition lawmakers in the chambers as well. So Moses,
Yeah.
you wanted to comment on it. You said this is the new president, and in the first place, it seems as though they are rebelling for what the opposition legislative staffers did. And so I think it also clears the air that when the assumption was made that some of those people were seditious, I think I took the stance that I would doubt it. And so now we can see, we draw the line that all of those in that house belong to the opposition camp, and the camp now of seditions belong to the CDC camp. Let's start a conversation quickly, take 10 minutes to iron this out, and then we'll move into our main conversation.
Well, like you said, and as we articulated on Tuesday, what happened at the legislature was absolutely wrong. And Volcano, if you take a closer look at the Code of Conduct, Article 5.8, and I would like to read a section of, for our people to at least have some understanding of what we're talking about. Our 5.8 clearly states that no officer or employee in the executive branch of government or any agency or department thereof shall take any active part in political management or in political campaigns. All such persons retain the right to vote as they may choose and to express their opinion on all political subjects. So the law is clearly saying that you have the right as an individual to vote, to associate, but you cannot be at the legislature, endorsing candidates. Legislative staffers are individuals who are hired by the government of Liberia. So technically, legislative staffers are civil servants. When we talk about civil servants, we're talking about individuals who work for government. Those are the guys who work in ministries, in various departments, and the legislature is also a branch of government. That is why when you go in there, you conduct yourself in such a way that you are not for or against. All of those who are in public service are considered to be apolitical. Alfonso.
Thank you. Yeah, as I said last week, and I believe as the three of us agreed, the use of
Past Tuesday.
sorry, Tuesday.
Yeah.
Last Tuesday, the three of us agreed that the use of public government property for political campaigning is wrong. And what happened that day was basically the use of government property free of charge for political campaigning, especially the Capitol building. That's wrong. I think we made that clear that day. The disagreement, understanding was not on that point. It was on the point of what was happening, whether the staffers were, petitioning the legislators for their wages, for their benefits that they've not gotten over time. Later, did we know that it was actually a political rally? Um, it, Even if it was started by the staffers, the use of the public facility was wrong, and we made that clear. It's unfortunate though that the government, the people who should be enforcing the rules, think that anytime they believe somebody broke the rules, then they go and break the rules as well. I mean, this is not the first time it happened on the campus of the University of Liberia, where Representative Cyrus Gray went there to also to challenge the students because he believed they broke the rules by jeering at a government official. And again, legislators of the ruling party did the same thing here. They believe that opposition legislators broke the rules. So the way to address it is not to hold them accountable under the laws and the rules of the legislature, but to go and break the rules themselves. So I think Liberia is sinking into a ruleless, lawless society, and that's serious.
And I like the point you stressed that when you mentioned that the people want to, show muscles.
Mhm.
They didn't have to go to do what the opposition legislative staffers did. They could have condemned it in the strongest possible term rather than going and assembling. And now they've created a complete division in the legislature. One group of the staffers, meaning the latter group, comprising seditions, said, no other opportunists, we are the legitimate staffers. So it tells me that the sedition staffers are getting paid. They're getting the benefits. They are enjoying. And the other staffers who are working in the opposition legislative offices
Yeah.
don't get paid, don't get the benefits. What type of country is this?
Yeah, yeah,
Where people are divided rather than working together for the
yeah.
common good of the country.
Yeah, and quickly, if I could just say something, what was even more appalling yesterday, gentlemen, to see a sitting vice president
There you go. Thank you.
supporting the breaking of laws in the country. She was there, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, and other executives, including the chairman on executive, Akaras Gray. In fact, it is my understanding that it is Representative Gray that went into the communities and mobilized sedition to show up at the Capitol. Because you can see that their action yesterday was well planned. They had a marching band and they brought in more people.
Mm,
And if you look at the individuals that were in that hall yesterday, dancing and chanting slogans, a good number of them don't seem to be workers of the legislature. It's just a group of young men that were assembled to go and show, power or to counter what happened on Tuesday. I mean, it's just sad. It's really, really sad. Alphonso said, I mean, this is a sign that there are more problems to come.
And you're right. You're right. The truth here is, and I would say that you mentioned Joe Howard Taylor, and I'm concerned because what did Mrs. Obama say? When they go low,
You
we
go
go
high.
all right.
Mhm.
we go high. And you would think a caliber of her intelligence, education, and the role she's played in our country would say, hey, listen, guys, we don't have to do what the opposition people did, and including those staff who endorsed them. Let's just condemn it and let's move forward. But instead, everybody wants to show muscle. And the sad thing here is some of them, they're not even doing push-ups. Understand me? They're not even doing push-ups. So I don't know what muscle they won't show.
Man, love man, Volcano.
He looking at my arms. He looking at.
You see, they're not even they don't even have political muscles.
We'll send that to you so they can see your arm.
Yeah.
Other important
You
thing,
see the memo, man.
important thing I want to emphasize, and Moses just popped up because I knew it was going to happen to him. I felt him going zooming in.
Yeah.
But the other thing I want to emphasize, and Moses emphasized that, has to do with taking people off the street and crowding the chambers as though they are staff. Bringing a marching band in the chambers.
Yeah.
Where are we going? Just because of this October 10 elections, people are going to do all kinds of things?
And you're right, Volcano, and that's the fear. I mean, if people are doing tit for tat now on those little things, what would they do when
Campaign
when
starts.
when they
Official
lose, when
starts.
campaign
Let's
starts?
start from campaign.
Yeah, exactly. That's the beginning of electoral campaign violence we're seeing here. So
or that's the beginning where people will now become resound and say, hey, this is about a country. When people are doing stupidity, we will still sing and we will follow the law.
Yeah. And we hope, I hope that point that you made, is what happens. But I think the emphasis here should have been enforcing and implementing the law. I mean, the CDC government CDC legislators control the legislature. They control the rules of the legislature. They have the speaker, who basically controls the Capitol building, and they have the president pro tempore. They could have just
And
gone
they
to
have
the
the vice
rules,
president.
and after exactly, they could have
They just
just
have
gone
the
to the
deputy
rules.
speaker.
Yes,
We
yes,
out of states.
yeah. So
The
they
people
have
are in dominance.
they have the entire leadership of the legislature. So they could have just gone to the rules and said, these are the rules that were broken, and these are the consequences that are laid out in the rules and in the laws and regulations when you break, and let's implement them. Instead of saying, oh, we're going to break the rules too. And worst of, you go out in the streets and bring people from the streets to come and come into the hall, like, and it's, I mean, Akara Gray did the same thing when he went to the University of Liberia campus. He's also got people off the streets and they marched onto the campus to challenge the students. Apparently this is similar to what happened yesterday, and it's dangerous. What if a fight broke out there yesterday in the chambers of the legislature, or even on the grounds of the legislature?
Or let's just say Yaka
Yeah.
Koluba has gone in there.
Yeah,
Because Yaka Koluba was not in our first session.
yeah,
Koluba was not in our first session. So
Yeah.
Koluba may come to be the neutral man. He say, well, what are you doing here?
yeah.
He start cussing everybody.
You're breaking the law, and then trouble breaks out. Yeah, you gotta avoid these things, not instigate, and not lit fire under them, and that's sad. That is sad.
Let me quickly recognize some folks here. Adia Umbo, thank you. Say good morning to the TI Room family. I guess it's morning in Australia.
Yeah.
Good to see you here tonight. We're going to have a good conversation. Please hang around. Maria Gardell, stay with us tonight. The conversation is going to be extremely important. You'll learn a lot in Liberian politics tonight. Mapu Hall, we say welcome to the show. Virgin on you again, of course. Favor Mercy, continue to share the link. Let us know you're here. We'd like to recognize you. Don't be behind. Listen, if you're not in no political party, what are you afraid of? Me, I ain't no political party. I'm looking for a government job. So don't be hiding behind the scene. Come let us know you're here so we can recognize you. And let's do this thing together. Right now, all of our conversation is geared towards saving our country. Now, if we goes back there and he can do the right thing, we will embrace the opportunity. So it's not about who's the president going to be. It's what the president going to do. Am I right, gentlemen?
Absolutely.
People just think that, oh, Cummings, we are tier one. No. I don't care who becomes president. It's what the president going to do when that authority and the power given to them to lead our country out of where we are. And we can do better than this.
Absolutely.
Do better than this. And let us stop this who owns Papa land kind of thing here, you know. But listen, as part of this opportunity for what happening when we just talked about it, the opposition group kind of put up a song, and apparently this song is going viral and it's now entered studio.
Oh yeah.
I want to just play this song and let's just have a little bit of relaxation with the song. And the song is a good one, and it's titled "Go George, We Are Go." You see the man yearning when you enjoying the people money, now what can happen? So the man yawning here, you know. So let's get to this song and enjoy a little bit.
So we are go, so we are go, so we are go, we tie our so we are go. So we are go. Devils are crying, no. African women are crying, no. So we are go. We tire out, so we are go. Innocent people are dying, yo. The students are saving home. So we are go. We tire out, so we are go. So we are go. So we are go. So we are go. We tire out, so we are go. So we are go. So we are go. So we are go. We tire out, so we are go. So we are go. Yeah, so we are go. We tire out, so we are go. Liberia is bleeding, no. The people are suffering, no. The we are go, we tire, the we are go. We tire with the hunger, we tire eating curry, oh. The we are go, we tire, the we are go. Musicians are crying, oh. Hospitals are empty, oh. The we are go. We tire, oh, the we are go, the we are go, yeah. We tire, oh, the we are go, the we are go, the we are tired suffering, suffering, oh, the we are go, the we are go. We tire eating garri, we tire suffering, we tire looking around. We are go, we are go, we are go.
See, man, we are playing basketball, my man.
Yeah. They're having a great time.
You saw Akara's girl on the tube, relaxing in the lagoon or in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
You saw what his name Eugene. Oh, Eugene.
Yeah, with
Number.
Rasta, yeah. Having a great time.
So you saw Samuel Toy and Eugene Nagwe insulting the Liberian people. Yeah, shut up.
Yeah.
So these are the kinds of things that have been going on for the last 5, almost 6 years with this government. The insensitive nature of everything. And so people have come to a point where, they think that the man, it's time to say Namu,
Yeah, not more.
Yeah. All right. But it was just part of the conversation tonight. But, gentlemen, let's go right into the segment here. And I wanted to tie in. Think about Madam Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. It is open secret that she is the reason why Mr. Weah became president. And as it is right now, we've seen that she's not looking in the Weah direction yet. She's still trying to see who can be a replacement. And lately, she has pulled in Alexander Cummings. She has brought in Yombly Kanga Lawrence. She's brought in Darius DeLong. And they're having conversation to the point where Yombly, I believe, has made it known that I'm not going in that direction. And I'm sure that Darius DeLong said that he will be coming out with a
official statement.
An address to the nation regarding the meeting with Ellen and what he learned. Who's responsible for the quagmire our country finds itself? But the first question here is, why Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf? 12 years, you led the country. You put in place a TRC, a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. You felt that there were wrongs done in the country. The TRC puts up its report. You were not exempt. It made it clear as to what will happen if you left power. And you still are not adhering. Let's start with that first. The meddling, the involvement in Liberian politics. We're not saying that it's not her right, but when you are saying that the ultimate decision lies in your hands, then it's of concern. And at this time, we can't just sit by and let this happen. We need to have this conversation. We need to begin to throw light, enlighten our people, that instead of the decision being in Ellen's hand, the decision being in Bwaka's hand, the decision being any one person's hand, it lies in their hands on October 10th. Who's going to go?
Look, I would take the kickoff. And as a student of management, one thing I learned over the year is that when you look at employees or when you look at individuals, sometimes it's good to come from the strength perspective first, and then later you can narrow down to where the weaknesses are and things that need to be done to improve upon the person's performance. So I would like to begin by first looking at Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, or the former president Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. Uh, let's look at some of the positive things that she did over the years, for the past 12 years. When Mr. Sirleaf took over the presidency of Liberia, then Liberia was declared a failed state. With the support from the international community, including the United Nations and the United States and the government of the United States, uh, she was able to leave a country that was stable politically, economically viable as well. They put in place institutions, or they put in place policies that helped to minimize some of the many problems that the country was faced with. The educational system was performing, the hospitals were performing, employees were being paid on a consistent basis, the economy was also booming. So we gave her credit for that. We gave her credit for uh, elevating the lives of Liberians from a failed state to a state of, self-independence. So she did some great work on that. Now, let's now narrow down on to what she's doing in recent times. What we have been reading about, what we have been seeing in the media, all the behind the scene thing that she's currently doing, I think, like you indicated on the promo, whether her role is helpful or detrimental to the peace and stability of Liberia, I would say her current role, all the behind the same thing she's doing to ensure that the former vice president, UP Standard Bearer Ome Joseph Boakai, doesn't succeed in becoming president. I think it is just not the right way to go. Uh, as a former president, respect comes from mutual. Respect is a two-way street. So when we talk about mutual respect, is that you respect other people, then they in turn will also respect you. But I think she's going completely outside of that limit. She's undermining the process. She's doing everything to stall the process. She's coming across everywhere. There was this recent a report on Liberia, carried in one of the leading newspapers, USA Today, that put Liberia's amongst one of the 10 countries in Africa, and Liberia is one of the poorest. And 65% of Liberians live in abject poverty. So it means that these people live on less than $1 a day. Okay. And so you have a leadership that is not helping to reverse this situation. Now you have a former president who is doing everything possible to ensure that she undermines the electoral process. I think, Volcano, Alphonso, I think that's troubling. The meetings with Ellen, the meeting with Arizona Cummings, the meeting with Yombi Kanga, the meeting with Vodaros Jado, and all the individuals that she believes that have some potential of making things to work for the good in the country, concocting all the strategies.
I want you to be careful here when you say the good of the country. You mean to protect her interest?
Yeah, okay. No, I want about individuals who have the potential of doing something good for the country. Okay. But she's having behind the scene discussion with the foremost objective, of having her will prevail. Liberia is not Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf's personal farm. Liberia is a sovereign country. Liberia does not need to be regulated by an individual. I think that's where she's losing respect. I will elaborate further, but let me pause there and give it to Alphonso.
Thank you, Moses. Thank you, Volcano. Yes, I totally agree. I mean, Volcano, I wanted to kind of emphasize, speaking back on the point you made earlier, that Ellen Sirleaf, as a citizen of Liberia, definitely has the right to pick and choose candidates that she wants and to participate in the political process. There's nothing legally that prevents her from doing that. She also has the right to choose and support whichever candidate she wants. But that is not the issue here. I think the issue here has to do with um, how she's getting involved in the process and the outcome of her involvement in the process. Has it been helpful? We all know, those of us who were around and watched the 2017 elections, the campaign period in the election, know full well that the role Ellen Sirleaf played in terms of supporting current President George Weah, who of course came from the opposition political camp, even to the extent of going against her own vice president, who served her for 12 years. Uh, we talk about the groundbreaking for the Banga Medikuma Highway, which in fact, you know, Omebwaka played a very leading role in getting the funding for the construction of that road. Ellen Sirleaf took George Weah and Mistress Taylor with her for the groundbreaking, not her vice president.
Mhm.
Ellen Sirleaf came to the United Nations General Assembly and told them, when in fact 70 plus year old black guy and 50 something George Weah were left in the race, told the United Nations General Assembly and the world that it was time for young people to become leaders, to take over the country and to rule the country. Essentially saying, no, no, it's time
No,
for
to
George
Baka,
Weah,
yeah.
not for Joseph Boakai. So clearly she played a role, a major role in the election of George Weah. Why? Why did she do that? I think for Volcano and Moses, you touch on those pieces. Is she trying to protect something? Because Ellen, as you said, did a lot of good things for that country, built a lot of accountability, transparency, democracy institutions, helped elevate the economy from the dungeon that it was in. That if the person who succeeded her had just continued a little bit on that path, instead of going backwards, Liberia would not be where it is today. We would have been making significant progress. If you look at GDP in Liberia, everything was going up. I mean, the revenue generation was improving. People had jobs because $16 billion of FDI, foreign direct investment, came into the country, again because of the accountability institution to democracy, the peace, and the promise that the country had. Why did this woman, knowing full well who George Weah is, knowing he's not capable of running the country, why did she decide that the country, that George Weah should be the one to succeed her? Was she trying to hide something? As you asked Volcano, was there something? Does she know something about Joseph Boakai and his leadership style that she's trying to prevent? Or does she think that, he wouldn't protect her? Which is some of the questions out there. And I also wanted to quickly add this before, I pass it on back to you, Volcano, is that it is also my information that the reason why um, late Councillor Bromskin and Mr. Benedict Alexander Cummings did not endorse Joseph Boakai in the second round when he was going against George Weah was again because of Ellen's behind the scenes machinations. Because they done, because I mean she was supportive of Bromskin and Cummings. So she had meetings with them and told them do not endorse and of
Baka.
course they didn't want to endorse George Weah. So they decided we're not going to endorse anybody. Our voters can decide who they want, and that also played a role. So why did this lady, knowing George Weah's abilities or inabilities, decide to support her? And now we have the situation where basically all of the institutions and all of the gains we've made have been reversed. That's the question.
So let me come in here and I will use intuition. And I could be wrong, but it's important that sometimes you use your intuition.
Mhm.
Now, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf made these gains according to Moses and Alphonso over the 12 years. And those gains were not just gains that she unilaterally made. It was highly supported by the international community. The believability factor was put on place,
Mhm.
on display, rather, I meant to say. The international community, the United States government, and all the stakeholders and world leaders and shakers and makers and breakers, they were in support. And she was concerned about history making. She became the first woman president on the continent of Africa, the first in the Republic of Liberia, and all of those things. And so Liberia benefited 15,000 United Nations troops to keep the peace. So a lot of things happened. Investment came to the country. You make that kind of gain, and because you wanted some kind of protection, and the vice president did not cave in and didn't understand what you were asking, you decided to turn to a young man who you felt, okay, look, you know what? The Liberian people are overwhelmingly still trusting this young man. Let's give it to him. Let's see what he would do. Let's make them rich. Akaris Gray, Thomas Fala, and all these boys, Jefferson Koji. Let's put some money in their pocket. Let's put them in good homes. And then 6 years, by then, Baka will be old. Maybe he will be dead and gone. And then we don't have to worry about him. We start pulling the strings to bring in another puppet and protect this one thing that she's wanting to protect. I could be wrong, gentlemen. And I thought to go solo layer so it can be my word and my saying. But coming back to join you guys. So, yes. So as part of the stuff that I jotted down, could it be some of the reasons why this old lady is just meddling and still trying to fight the battle? Because what I'm not understanding here is, how can you make all of this gain? Look at where the country, 12 years of gain, 6 years of total retrogression. Yeah. And the retrogression even surpasses your 12 years that you made into the civil crisis. If you went to Liberia today, it's like in the day of the war with no peace and order. How can you be in a country where there's no rule of law, gentlemen? How can you be in a country where there's not one traffic light working? People are driving by heart. And you know how we used to say the man driving by heart?
Yeah.
By heart. There's no rule. And you know what they say when the man
it means do your own thing.
Yeah. How can we have gotten to this point? And this woman thinks that we're able to resurrect. The international community saved us from all the debts we owed. We left the country with $1 billion. This young man coming in now is 1.9 billion, almost $2 billion. You think the international community is going to forgive us for this nonsense you, Ma Ellen, did? And yet you're still trying to find a way? Now, I don't know if you guys listen to Eugene Fagon, like it or hit him, whatever he said, whether it has verity. But when you start to listen and watch and look at some of the, and I was surprised that I didn't even know that Cummings was sitting on board and Charlene Bronskin was, I saw some of this document. I was surprised. I was totally surprised. And Ellen's involvement with this financial cartel, bringing the IB Bank and all of this stuff. Now, is Ellen fighting for herself? I don't think so. Ellen is fighting for her children, her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren, and her friends, their family members, so that they can be sitting pretty at the expense and suffering and indigent livelihood of the Liberian people. And I want to come close to the mic. This woman has to leave our elections. Let us stay away from it and let the Liberian people make the judgment call. Again, I don't care who become president in Liberia. And I want every Liberian listening to me tonight. I don't care. But what the president fails to do is where I will care. And that's where we'll continue to talk.
And Volcano, it is only one word that, effectively describes what Mr. Sirleaf is doing. Greed. It's all about herself, her family. And let me say this to the former president and her many supporters. I don't think Mr. Sirleaf is a nationalist. Volcano, regardless of where you serve, but when you work at a leadership level in any organization, when you leave, you want to see that institution thriving. You don't want to see retrogression, because when the institution fails, it means that you did not do a good job.
You see, you were very hard again tonight. you are in people there in society.
Yeah, yeah, But what I was saying is that
you were wearing people there. My producer says who had on Tuesday. Now you come back 2 week party hat.
I know, very Mario. Yeah, but what I was saying, John, man, is that when you lead an organization, you want to see progression. You don't want to see all the good things that you see. I mean, all the good things that you did going into reverse. And that's what we have seen since Mr. Weah became president for almost 6 years now. We saw a complete U-turn. The hospitals, the educational system. You have a country that boasts of having one of the biggest budget, but yet the government cannot afford to pay salaries. Isn't that an irony?
And that's what James Bonney said the other night when they were running on a $500 million budget.
The salary was coming consistently.
But now you're going to 800 million.
Almost 800 million. Yeah, you can pay salary.
Yeah, go ahead.
The hospitals are in tatters. Schools are in tatters. No rule of law. And you have an individual who remain fixated in ensuring the continuity of this hardship. I can tell you, Mr. Sirleaf doesn't love Mr. Cummings. She knows that Mr. Cummings cannot win the presidency. I know ANC people will say, oh, well, you know, and Moses Sandy, why would you say that? The statistics speak to that. Unfortunately, Mr. Cummings is not marketable enough to win the presidency.
But the same way that she brought we out of power, maybe it's the conduit through which she would do that.
I'm saying to you, Volcano, she can do everything she can. Mr. Cummings just cannot win the presidency of Liberia. It's not marketable enough. Okay? I know all the ANC people will kill me tonight, but sometimes it's good to cut a spade a spade. It's not marketable. Okay? Now, Councillor Gonglo, yes, he's popular, but he also cannot win the presidency. He's not marketable enough. He doesn't have the resources. So he cannot win. He may have few numbers, but he cannot. And, you know, the only person that, and this is not to support the old man, it's not to support, I'm not a member of the Unity Party, but I'm speaking based on what I see in the public domain, the data that is out there. The only person that is marketable is what? Ome Joseph Boakai, he's the only person in the opposition that is marketable, that is comparable to George Weah in terms of numbers. Now, this is what the old man wants to see. She wants to make sure that the old man doesn't succeed. She's doing everything she can to split the opposition. When the opposition is divided, and then a second time, they go for a second round, because it's obvious that George Weah cannot get 51%. Ome Boakai cannot get 51%. When the opposition is divided, then at the end of the day, the same Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf will employ the same divisive tactics and win support for Mr. Weah for the continuity of the hardship that our people are currently dealing with. And the failed leadership.
This protection.
That's what she's doing.
Trying to protect.
She want to make sure that Mr. Weah goes for 12 years. So she's working behind the scene.
So you think her involvement with Cummings is a facade?
Of course, it's just a charade. It's out of honesty. She knows that Mr. Cummings cannot. She knows that. The data speaks to that. That is not my making. It is not your making. It's not Alphonso's making. But we consistently follow. We see the data obtaining.
Yvonne Ayo says that the old man is sick and being pushed by people who are greedy to get their hands on the country's money.
She's entitled to her opinion.
Yeah,
but the point I was trying to make here is,
but Yvonne doesn't know that the people took the engine from the race car.
Alexander Cummings and the other people, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, they have what? The used car, and the old man took the engine. The tree is already moving. And Alexander Cummings and his people with Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, when she checked, they said, oh, your man Boakai just stopped by. When she checked, the engine was gone from out of what? The train. So the train is now rolling at a different end. So to sum it up, I'm telling you, Mr. Sirleaf does not love Liberia. And it is shameful. It is embarrassing that somebody who was supported by the people of Liberia, she did not become president because she's the most beautiful president, she's the most intelligent president. She became president because the people of Liberia decided to give her that opportunity. It's not a right, it's a privilege. So why is she so fixated on making sure that another person does not get that kind of opportunity? This is not good.
She's hiding something. She's protecting something.
Alphonso.
Something that's something we got to know it soon. Go ahead.
Yeah. And yes, let's look at the indicators. First thing Judge Ria said when he was elected president, or even before, he said, when I had to go after the Oman, we'll protect the Oman. Judge Ria made that comment. That video surfaced recently again. I saw it. I listened to it. We're here to protect. We'll protect the Oman. That can we assume, since we don't know that to be a fact, can we assume that that was the arrangement between her and Joshua?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. And Alphonso, now to cut you on and Volcano, just take a closer look of Mr. Weah's or cabinet.
Yeah.
Eugene Nangbe, former Secretary General, UP. Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf made her to get a job.
And a break away from CDC.
Yes. He broke away. Actually, he worked with Ellen for several years as minister. You mentioned.
No, hold on. I take the word back, break away. A traitor to the CDC.
Of course. Eugene Nangbe is a leech. You know, he's sucking the blood of the country.
Go ahead, Alphonso, make your case.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so that point. And then what happened when her son Charles was implicated in corruption at the National Bank and was arrested and stuff? What happened? She issued a statement, she intervened, he was quickly released. That money issue, what happened? Nothing has come out of it. Again, is she trying to protect something? Then let's go back to Nokal. Nokal was flush with money, hundreds and millions of dollars. Mr. Robert Sirleaf was going around that country.
He broke it down.
You know, until Nokal broke down. Has anybody been held accountable? Has any questions been asked and Judge we took over? What happened to Nokal and what happened to the money? No, nothing has happened. Has anybody in the Sirleaf, 66 out of 68 concession agreements were judged by international auditors, most Stevens and other people, as being extremely corrupt and violating Liberian law. Oil companies were giving people kickback and bribing people in the government to pass oil deals. Has anybody been held accountable? Has Mr. George Weah's government gone to court to prosecute any of those people?
Of course
Maybe
not.
a part of the deal that was made. And we're seeing that today. And that is, again, causing Liberia to retrogress, to go behind, because there's no accountability. Weah is probably protecting her and her children. And as you said, Moses, I actually spoke to somebody when I were hearing in the media that Ellen was involved, a very inner person. I said, is it true that Ellen is actually involved in having these meetings? He said, yes. And I said, what does she want? Does she really just doesn't like Boakai or why? He said, no, she wants to re-elect George Weah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the ploy.
So what she's doing is not necessarily that Cummings will win or whatever, but to split the opposition.
Yeah.
And as you said, he said it's because of the second round. In the second round, which is the runoff election, when the opposition is not united, they will not be able to pull off the win. And once the election is closed, anything can happen. So what she's trying to do is to drive a wedge between the opposition, which is upset Cummings and Billy's side of the party, upset these people so that they will not be able to come together to collaborate. And then her protector will remain open. That's exactly what the person said. And it's interesting that you're repeating the same thing. And then one last point quickly. The reason people have vice presidents. The reason why political parties pick president and vice president is for succession planning. Somebody leaving, another person steps in to continue that party's or the policies and agenda. That's the reason why, you have presidents and vice presidents. That's one of the major reasons. The president can drop and die, the vice president take over, but will carry on, the policies and agenda of that political party, of that group. Ellen failed to do succession planning. Ellen, as you said, Volcano, Ellen didn't do and accomplish all of those things all by herself. Ellen had, in addition to international support, she had in her government very competent, qualified group of people that assembled that did much of that work for her. And we also had people in the international community who were equally qualified. Ellen wanted her, those things and Liberia's progress to be sustained. She could have supported any one of those people. But she apparently,
yeah, and I like the point you made.
Yeah.
Even with the competent people that she had, all those competent people had to walk away.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to bag ball them.
Yes, exactly.
John Malu, people who build a reputation just like he did. People who aspire to be great people in their own
right.
And she wanted to control. The woman is very controlling.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have Malu left, you had
Anthony Saya.
Even Gonglo himself resigned too.
Gonglo
resigned.
Saya left, Gonglo left, Woos left.
What she did? She took an IT boy from here in Philadelphia and made him finance minister.
So again, she could have planned a succession. It didn't have to be Black Eye. It could have been any of those other people to take over and continue the progress. But that's not what she was looking for. What she was looking for was somebody, as you said, be a bad boy, but also agree to everything she wanted, and then we will protect her and her family and her friends who were actually stealing.
Do you know that is the president calling for money in the night in the duffel bags is not a new thing? Do you know that Ellen was doing that, calling Kone and say, send me $1 million, send me $5 million here and there?
Wow.
These things.
It's an age-old problem.
These things happened.
Yeah. And part of the way they do it over there is through the NSA. The NSA budget is not audited. It's about national security, so it's not made public. So what they do is they stash a lot of money into that budget, and then once they call, they just go into the NSA fund and take money from there. Of course, in addition to other funds, and take money from there. So you're right; they've been doing it for ages.
And you know what bothers me? How much money did Ellen put into Liberia?
Yeah.
How money was Ellen spent? The so-called $10,000 you get to tell her, we'll give it back to her.
Yeah.
Y'all just leave it Liberia.
But don't forget her. Don't forget her. You are not being fair to the people of Liberia. The woman already milked the country. They go give her $10,000 back. The woman got millions of dollars from the country free. They give her money.
So Ellen did not even put money in Liberia that she had taken out of Liberia. George Weah did not put money in Liberia that he has taken out of Liberia. Charles Taylor did not put money in Liberia that he's taken out of Liberia. You understand me?
Yeah.
All these last leaders after our civil war did nothing for that country. Show me what they did. Show me the infrastructure.
No.
What was Weah infrastructure before becoming president? What was Ellen's infrastructure before becoming president?
Nothing.
What was Taylor's infrastructure or commitment to Liberia before becoming president?
Nothing.
All they did was took away and gave them nothing to the Liberian people.
That's why
we have this kind of conversation, because we want to enlighten our people.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, this is your time. Just how the CDC people said our time to eat, it's the Liberian people time on October 10th to eat.
Make that decision. Yeah.
If you don't make that decision for you to eat and eat well, I said it the other day, Alphonso, Liberian man doesn't need much. Liberian man does not require much.
No.
The same way you can go home, you got your big generator, you put your leg on all around your fence, you put AC on, you put your big screen on, you lay down there. The Liberian man put his 32-inch on, but he still put his little light bulb on that look like
I'm
lantern.
comfortable, man.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
You got one little small S by cool water. Begin go bring me one plastic by me, eat my little,
Yeah.
it's comfortable. You can run your country all you want. The same way you enjoy it,
Okay.
just get in the small one down here.
Mm-hmm.
But you keep the people in the dark.
Yeah.
The people walking by line all day. You put the data that is supposed to call, you carry the tariff up to the point that by the time they call even go through, the minutes gone. No redress. You understand me?
Yeah.
Everything in the country is so hard to the core. And then you got
Everything.
two people taunting wealth, bluffing. Eugene Nangbe sitting down there eating rolls of lobster. You know about
Yeah,
what
you
is
know.
a lobster, Eugene?
Yeah, you
For
know.
real? Sitting
He
down there
takes
eating lobsters?
Oh, he controls maritime funds. So.
Okay. So listen, man, listen. Let me just go to intermission quick. We'll come back and continue this thing. Listen, folks, we want to thank you all for coming in tonight. Flomo Livingstone, you said 3-day call, no more. Yeah, make cancel everything. GT, is it Jetty or GT Scott? We say thank you for joining us here tonight. Johnson Colley, some new people here in the house tonight. Yvonne Ayo, Jatusia Morris, of course, good to see you back here. Priscilla Myers, thanks for joining us here. Favor, Mercy, Grace, Adia Umo, Maria Gadel, Mapu Hall, Ferjimo. You continue to share the link. The number is increasing. But Chami, we'd like to hear from you. Call Gloria Voca Moba. Great to see you tonight. Welcome to the show. We'll be opening the line at probably 8:05 so that some of you can call in. Listen, this is about our country. What we're talking about here tonight is all in the favor of Liberia. Nobody cares who becomes president. We care about what they will do for the country. That's what we care about. And so we hear 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesdays and Fridays and 11 o'clock in Liberia and those countries that are within the Greenwich time zone. Our broadcast is on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn. I would like to encourage you to share the link. Continue to invite others to follow us and love us. It's Alphonso Yeno, Moses Sandy, Volcano Shelton here with you tonight. And we say welcome to the 154th edition of the Issues Room. We're discussing Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf. Is her continued involvement in Liberia's politics. Is it helpful rather, or is it detrimental to the country's future? The future of the country, because right now we're in the present, the past, and the past participle. we even enter the future here.
I would look at the future now.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
It's helpful, yeah.
We're in the present, the past, and the past participle.
Life has been at a standstill, and I'm moving.
Everything at a standstill.
People hungry, nothing moving,
We're looking toward the future. So we encourage you. Gabriel Daniels, thanks for joining us. So, gentlemen, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf, the Omar has done so much. Whether good or bad, where are we going, my man? Where are we going? You see everything that's happening. Just the other day, Moses, let me just introduce this quick and we can talk about it. A baby, baby was found dead, ritualistically, accordingly.
And that's the one you said the baby was beheaded, right?
Yeah, accordingly. Right?
Yeah, in Pittsburgh.
Let me give you the perfect spot it took place, because I'm involved in Liberia. So Giazza Row is my birthplace. Painesville is my town where I was born and grew up. When you get to Giazza Junction coming from LBS, coming down to go climb that little small hill to go to what Joba, right up that hill.
Yeah,
there was a swampy area around that area. As soon as you pass Giazza Junction, they just built a new church. The people took the baby and threw the baby in the gutter near the church. No baby was found.
Very sad, man.
Can someone spell the word innocent? Define the word innocent and understand what innocent means rather.
Yeah.
A baby.
Take a life.
Who's only crying to suck. They can't even talk. 1 year old, when they're crying to suck, when they're crying to fulfill her little stomach or his little stomach, and you sacrifice that child because we're in electoral season.
Wow.
It was a scene. People were crying. All of Queensville, Joe Biden area.
Wow.
How did our country come to this point? And then you still have people fighting for this one seat. The seats that are open, scared to sit down in. Because the man said the other day, the man said, the people just forced me in the thing.
Yeah, he said he's not a politician. And the people just forcing into it.
Yeah. The greedy people encouraged him to go there because he was popular, so that they can use him, ride on him to do exactly what they're doing right now.
How can you be that low? What's the sanity of our people? What's the fear of God?
Wow.
What's the fear of a child? When you harm a child, you harm yourself, because God, I mean, I don't even understand it.
Yep.
I don't understand it. So,
Jesus. Yep.
So when you have the leaders who are doing evil, what do you expect the ordinary citizens? And you know where Liberia is now? People can do anything and get away with it because the police still doing logical investigation to come to logical conclusion.
No conclusion.
For the more the delay in bringing people to justice, the more heinous crimes will be perpetrated on the innocent people of our country.
But look, Volcano, you already struck a certain point. You talk about leaders. So if you're going to succeed as a leader, it is often said that you lead by example, right? And unfortunately, we have leaders in Liberia that do not lead by example. Take, for example, what happened at the Capitol yesterday. You have a certain vice president breaking the law with impunity. So all these things happening in the country, the culture of impunity has become a way of life in the country. You have a president who takes almost 50 days away from the country, no accountability. He returns to the country with another big falsehood of getting 50 billion from somewhere. A crime occurs, nobody is held liable. A crime occurs, you have individuals who claim to be legal luminaries supporting the perpetrators of the alleged perpetrators of the crime, such as this quote unquote
Johnson,
the Councillor Johnson, who said for the fact that the lady said she sprayed in the direction of somebody, she can identify the person who murdered her daughter. What a faulty analysis. No, I mean, nobody is held liable. In the workplace, the same thing. Volcano, you went back home today, they gave you a department to function, you're coming from the system, you tell the people, oh, my man, yeah, work time here is 8 o'clock, and we all here leave here from 5. Somebody will say, I mean, when you're America, that America thing you won't bring here. The man wants to come to work 12 o'clock and leave by 1. And you still get paid for 8 hours.
Yeah, and you should accept it.
Yeah, you shouldn't say anything. Once you say something about it, they say, oh, my man, that man, he got too much problem, my man. Because you're trying to hold people accountable. You have a president who doesn't report to work, who doesn't care what is happening in the country. All he wants is what? Money, money, money.
Listen to this quick before you continue.
Yes.
The link. You know what I tell the people who sometimes I run into at my work that my administration. I said, that the job here you supposed to be here practicing so that you can take this good experience to Liberia, and you're still doing the same thing. How you go face your country?
Yeah, how you gonna face it?
Then they can start laughing. Say, hey, chief. I said, no, it's not chief business. You're in America. You don't practice the guiding principle of being a professional, accountable, responsible employee. But then you want to run to Liberia to go get job. You're in a country where everything is in place. The system holds you accountable. And you're still finding weird loopholes to circumvent what is put in place. How will you do anything in your own home country?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just want to make that point that you
No,
made.
I mean you're
That
absolutely
is it.
right. That's how we do.
Yeah.
You know.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why up to now
Mhm.
employees go to work and they don't have a system of clocking in, time management?
No.
How do you record and manage their time? It's so easy. All you need is one computer and some electricity for people to be able to put their finger on something or
Yeah.
to clock in.
Just
Just
put a system.
punch a number into the system so
That's
you know they are
That's
there.
a good question. What's the difference between Haiti and Liberia?
Yeah.
The only thing we haven't gotten to the point where the gangs controlling the country.
Well, I
We're not
think
seeing kidnaps and stuff yet,
yeah,
but we're not doing well. Even we're not doing
yeah.
that way better than Haiti.
Yeah. I tell you,
Okay.
Volcano, I think we are getting there. I mean, we're not doing kidnapping, we're not there. You're right, we're getting close. If I remember very well, there were 2 or 3 incidents where the police and Zogos, gangsters, actually exchanged gunfire, fire at each other. I think it was in one of them, one of the incidents were in the Douala area where somebody, one of the Zogos, 1 or 2 of Zogos were killed, but exchanged gunfire with the police. So we're getting close to that, and that is sad. Again, the point is there's no accountability. The police never solves any crime.
Mhm.
Never ever. I've never heard. Let's take the auditors. Let's start from there. Nobody has been held accountable. Of course, nothing's going to happen with Gifty. What's a
Yeah,
Gifty?
I just said that people died of carbon monoxide.
Yeah, carbon
Mhm.
monoxide.
Yeah.
So who accountable?
Does that even make sense? You want to tell me the people were just sitting in the car on Broad Street?
And they decided to
Having sex?
die.
Yeah, on Broad
Mhm.
Street.
That's right.
I remember there was a ticket guy from the city corporation of Monrovia who said he saw the car parked there in the morning.
Yeah. You see
He
that?
came back and saw the car there the following day. So there's
Mhm.
no way they were sitting in the car from and died of
No.
carbon monoxide. It's unrealistic. It's
And
unrealistic.
who did that pronouncement come from? The
Well,
president.
the president. So
Let me
the
quickly, let me quickly tell folks the lines
Yeah.
open up. Please
Yeah.
call, join us here for the
Mm.
conversation. 404-272-2808, 404
Mhm.
272-2808. Here's the Issues Room, 154th edition. We're discussing the contemporary issues in Liberia, particularly Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf and her continued involvement in Liberia political dispensation. Why is she so involved? What is it that she's protecting? Who is she protecting? Who is her pick for the presidency? Why is this Omar King go mind her business, sit down in her left corner? The people say, sit down in your corner. Omar, sit down in your corner. Yeah? Leave our thing alone. You enjoy, you made enough money. Just
He
squander
doesn't
all,
know.
and then you stay behind the thing here. You think Liberia like your farm? You don't own the country yet? But anyway,
You know?
Yeah.
welcome to the show. Call the number 404-272 and make your contribution 2808. Continue, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Yeah, Volcano.
Point I wanted. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead,
Yeah.
Alfonso.
Okay. The final point I wanted to make on this piece regarding Ellen Sirleaf and the election is that we need to again, and this is one of the reasons we're doing this, but we need to educate our people that that country would never move forward until a system of accountability is put into place. The thing that's killing that country, Volcano, you said it multiple times in previous shows. Moses, you said that as well. The thing that's killing that country is corruption. It's corruption. Liberia has resources. We have the money. We are a small population. Corruption is what's killing that country and holding us back. And until we begin to hold people accountable, people stole millions and millions, if not billions of dollars from that country and stack it in foreign bank accounts. We can go for that. We can also go after people in the country and bring. Nigeria just got, I think, more than several hundred or close to $1 billion from just going after, I think it was Sani Abacha's money that he was in bank.
Stack abroad, yeah.
Yeah, and they just send it back. We can do the same from Todman, from Tauber, from Doe, from Taylor, from Ellen. These people save their money, and even this government, but the money is traceable.
But look at what this guy did the other day.
Yeah.
All the new money they've been printing, the money now on the market. All
Yeah.
of a sudden, Mr. Speaker look like a malnourished monkey, stand outside there and sharing money with
And
people.
our
New
Where
money.
do you take the new money from?
new banknotes, and it's not on the market. Yep.
Where do you take the money from?
Yeah. And people are saying that money was printed for their camp to fund their campaign. That's why people are saying that's exactly what's happening. So it's
And
not on the market.
And nobody says anything about it.
Yeah.
no, it is my understanding that the government printed, I think they said what, $65 billion, Liberian dollars,
Wow.
and the speaker was giving out 750 Liberian dollars, which is less than $5 US, literally buying votes from people in or Harper, Maryland County. See how disgraceful that is?
And then man, I'm from Maryland. They say he's on Ivorian. They call
Are you
him
from
See,
Maryland?
I mean,
No, you're from
and,
Maryland.
never met a man
and,
cross
and, and,
taboo.
and you see how and you see how that is so disgraceful.
Yeah. What kind of thing
The
is this?
the
You,
the
you
the issue of corruption is Liberia's foremost problem.
Yes.
And
Yes.
Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf is shamefully promoting that at the detriment of the country. She knows that Mr. Weir and his people are plundering.
But let me say this. The woman took more than what we are then taking. We are anything that just drop in the bucket. I will not sit there and tell you no is not. We are anything is just drop. If Ellen knew that we are were going to take more than her, they will not be there. They will not be there.
But
So
at
what
least
the boss
they
are
not pay 42 condominium.
but what the boss are doing is small to what Ellen and her people took for 12 years. It's small. And plus what she protecting. That's the concern here tonight. What is Ellen so much protecting? That she want to dictate who becomes president in Liberia.
It's
What
about
is it that
herself
she
and her
protecting?
family.
So I don't think we are enjoying more than Ellen time.
No.
Well, then
Ellen,
the thing they enjoy because Eugene eating what they call
lobster. Ellen is protecting her international legacy. Any president, anybody who assumes leadership in our country and decides to go after people for corruption, Ellen's and her people are terrified about that because that will pin her differently in the eyes of the international. Right now, in the eyes of the international community, she's a darling. But when you stop bringing this and prosecuting people, her legacy would be ruined. And of course, even the personal freedoms of some of her people could be in jeopardy too. They could go to jail. Their property could get seized. So of course, I mean, she could be protecting those things because, I mean, if let's say even if not herself, if they just go after her son for no call, or they went after her finance minister, or they went after people close
Robert
to her,
Salif will bring the car down.
it would be disastrous for her. So she doesn't want accountability. She doesn't want anybody held accountable. And Mr. Weir promised that. I mean, he said it publicly, and and the other people are not promising her that, as far as I've heard, and so she will do everything she can for them not to take over. But I think we need to educate our people again about these things and say, look, the only way we'll move forward is if we can tackle corruption. And one of the way we tackle corruption is to go back and hold people accountable who really plundered this country and stole millions and millions of dollars sitting on it overseas or even here enjoying. Why the hospitals can't even get $100,000 a year that's in the budget for them?
Nothing.
Isn't that crazy? $100,000 a whole year?
A whole year,
You know
$100,000.
what makes me in all of this, gentlemen? Why do we go to war?
Yeah.
Why do we kill all the innocent people who died?
Destroy for
Why
nothing.
were we putting people's skulls on poles?
Yeah.
Why were we using people intestines as checkpoints?
Checkpoints.
Why were we doing these things? All because we wanted to make I take a new direction rather and save the country according to the freedom so-called fighters,
Yeah.
which Ellen was a part of.
Yep.
And what did Ellen do? What did Ellen do? Ellen government didn't do much. Let people hate me tonight. She was just appeasing the international community. Right after the United Nations troop left, what happened? Things started going out of hand.
You know,
Started going out of hand.
Volcano.
Why?
Uh-huh.
Once the government was not infused in the WEA government, the few people that she shared onto him or passed on to him, the rest of the men give it.
The typical Liberian way.
Look at it, took the duffel
Man, give it. It's a Omar Yali
the king and the chilling. So they're waiting for the new order.
Yeah.
Some of them hinged on the new order. They're waiting for the new order. That's why she's fighting hard.
But you know, Volcano, to answer the question, why is she doing all of this? Like Alphonso said, it's all about her personal ego. This is not about nationalism. It's not about the good of any of the guys that she's currently, pushing here and there. Mr. Sirleaf wants a puppet government, and Mr. Weah is a stooge. He's a puppet. He doesn't understand anything. He doesn't know governance. He doesn't pay attention to detail. He's a follower. Joseph Boakai is not a follower. Alexander Cummings is not a follower. Tiawon Gonglo is not, because the guys have the intellectual capability to reason, to agree and disagree. Mr. Weah lacks that.
But now I don't even know when you say Alexander Cummings is not a follower, because I handed
but the point I'm trying to drive here is that right now she's trying to abuse the relationship that she has with Mr. Cummings. She's trying to use him, as a face, and she knows that she knows that Mr. Cummings is not going to go nowhere in the election. I mean, this is not our creation. The data is out there. Mr. Cummings can hardly pull a gathering of 5,000 presidents. And we're talking about the presidency. We're not talking about classroom, election yet. So Mr. Cummings is not going nowhere. So she said, you know what? I will put the opposition at loggerhead, drive a wedge, and then at the end of the day, I will have my will prevail.
So is that why Randy saw it from the beginning and said, "Me give it"?
Randy gave it, because Cummings is not going anywhere. Yeah, Cummings is just going to be a distraction, for the opposition, but he's not going anywhere.
So let's do a quick analysis here now.
Yeah,
Ellen does all of this, right? She's so involved, she's so vested in all of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Ellen is the ultimate decision maker?
I don't want to put her at that level. She's not.
But brother, the Liberian people are themselves vulnerable.
This is the time now that's why we're having this show, Volcano. This is why we're having this show, to educate our people.
Because
Ellen Johnson has to understand that Liberia does not belong to her.
Because it appears that she looks feels bigger than the people in the country.
Yeah, that's how she portrays herself.
Because she wants to dictate the leadership of the country because of this thing this woman is protecting. I don't know if this thing is something in the pyramid. We got to get Indiana Jones to come here and go find this lost treasure or whatever the old man. But listen, we got to find a way to bring old man back out so you can tell what the old man protecting.
And you said he asked the old man, when the old man said, "Will you protect me?" What was it again?
What did you do, Ellie? She was running, and every time she runs, she would look behind her. So the old man standing, he stopped her. He said, "Ellie," and she said, "Yeah, Boka. But why I see you running every time you turn around, you're looking behind you. Who's running after you?" He said, "But Joe, you will protect me." He said, "From what?" I see you running, you keep looking behind you. Who is after you? So unless that woman opens her mouth and says, "This is what's happening, and this is the person that's running behind me," she will continue to run. and Liberians need to mount, that checkpoint. Our people in the number have to tell Mr. Sirleaf that her days are over. Liberia is not her, it's not her personal property. She cannot decide who becomes and who cannot. No.
Yeah.
With all the respect, that we have for her, we continue to give her, I think she should allow the people of Liberia to exercise that political franchise without any interference from her. Let the people decide.
Alfonso?
Yeah, I think the people are the ultimate deciders. Yes, and I'll repeat, Ellen has every right to support anybody and to do anything anyhow as long as it's legal to get people to support that person. But I also think people need to stand up to her. And
Yeah.
I want to believe that that's beginning to happen now.
I hope so.
In 2017, Boakai, I believe, did not stand up. He was willing to appease her, to do everything, to get her to accept him, but she wasn't going to do that. To the extent where even his vice presidential pick was influenced by her. This time around, the reason I'm saying is probably not listening is he went solo. He didn't go to her to hold her foot in the backer. Even people she talked to, Yumbly, Dillon, are now saying no to her. That's what needs to happen. People need to stand their grounds and say, no, you have your views. You have a right to express them, but I have mine, and mine is this direction, and this is the direction that I'm going in. I think, yes, that's what needs to happen. Once that starts to happen, she can try to influence things, but when people start saying no and banding together, we can move away from her. We can move away from her negative influence. Does she have some good ideas that she can share? Absolutely. Let's take those ideas. But I think it's also time to move forward. And the way it can happen is when people begin to stand up. And I can't wait for Dylan to come and say, hold
Just
the
what
press
happened.
conference
Yeah.
he promised, and really divulge some of the conversations that he said took place when she invited him, and what he perceives as people who are really damaging the country and holding it behind. That would be a really interesting press conference.
And I look forward to that
Yeah.
too. That the senator will be able to do that for the people of Liberia.
Mm.
Let him come on and expose, some of the evil plans by this lady. Volcano, like you said, it's all about her. It's all about her. She doesn't love Liberia. She does him. She wants her way.
So Moses, Priscilla
Yeah.
Myers said, what do you mean that Cummings will not go anywhere?
Oh, come on. Priscilla lives in a dream world,
Oh, hold on. Let
don't know what's
me finish reading Priscilla statement.
Be surprised, Cummings will become the
Priscilla, you live, maybe she live in outer space,
The
Yeah.
last should be the first.
Yeah, I mean, Priscilla, my sister, with all due respect to you, the data does not support a Cummings presidency for now. I'm not a fortune teller, but when I speak based on what is in the public domain, data. Mr. Cummings has not been able to mobilize enough. Yes, he's throwing money here and there. And one of the problems he has is that Mr. Cummings is so unstable politically. He accuses others of being dishonest. But look at his inner cycle.
But Moses, just make one point and lead that talk. Don't come with that. Let him get vice presidential.
You got Musa Benete, you got Musa Benete behind you. We'll take you serious.
Moses, now I'm giving you pointer.
Yeah.
Let me get a VP pick first, then we'll come and hold the conversation.
Yeah, the senator coming on there. That next week or next Friday, the 27th, he's gonna be announcing his VP pick.
Who, Charlene Bronsky?
Well, we're not sure yet because Cummings, the name I'm told the name Alexander Cummings has become so toxic that everywhere he goes, people are running away from him. And I don't know whether Charlene is ready, to compromise or feature by forming political alliance with someone whose name has become so toxic politically.
Just before we move into what type of country is this segment?
Mhm.
Let's just take a meeting, go around the room, and just talk about what would it be if Ellen were to go silent. Now that we said all these things, but let's just say Ellen say, "Okay, my children, I will hear you. Yeah, I'm gonna sit down on my farm. I'm going to hide in the corner. You told me to go hide in, and let me just take it light." What will happen to Liberian politics?
That would be the best way to go, and that's what we expect her to do. Let her
Ellen,
leave
mhm.
what is happening in Liberia today, the politics of today. She said, "You remember when she came to the United States and told the world, not only Americans, that it was time to step aside." That's what we expect her for. Retire and let the other people run their show.
What if someone says that, "Oh, the woman just mitigating because Christ is looming and she just want to."
Oh, come on. She's exacerbating the situation. She helping.
Okay.
Well, it's one thing to do that, Volcano, and if she's doing that, then great. But from people she met with who are coming out and talking, that's not what she's doing. She's asking people to go be vice presidential candidates with other people to stop supporting other people and support other people. That's not mitigating crisis. That's taking a stance and supporting a specific candidate against the other. Now that raises the question: why? Why are you doing that? Would it be because you think this person is the best person? Perhaps. Or are you doing it because, again, you want to extract some promises from that person or relative to protections, relative to doing things you want them to do when they get elected? Perhaps also. So that's concerning. And that's why it's important, that we're having this conversation to delve
Yeah.
into it. Why is she doing this? Why is she still involved? And Moses is right. She said she was resigning
Yeah.
from Liberian politics. That's a statement, open public statement she made. That she's still in the back and deciding, don't support this person, support this person. I think at this point that should be beneath her as a elder statesperson, a former president, as you said, Volcano. The
Yeah.
the fighting for peace and making sure things go well is the kind of thing she should be doing now, not taking partisan positions that it's alleged she's taking.
And that's sad. Because when you think about it, everything we talked about here tonight, circle back to this one thing. Oh man, you just said oh. You put in your mom Joe Baka, you said the old man oh, but you just said oh. I think
Yeah.
you put on the Baka.
Yeah. Oma, I
Yeah.
think she's more than 80 now.
Yeah, so she was
Yeah.
you just say oh
Like
nah.
I said the other day, right now she should be thinking about, trying to move into a retirement home.
why you want Houston the woman?
I mean, the age at which she has gotten now, she just need to retire, focus on spending quality time with her grandkids and children. Look, life has got stages. When you get to a certain level, it's all about yourself now. You don't care about what is happening around you. So, Mr. Sirleaf, with all the due respect, I think let this thing here go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let hit. gentlemen, we are back in a segment. What type of country is this? You and I know this is where we have the best of laugh therapy. What type of country is this? That an old former sitting president is still meddling when she should be concerned about going into retirement home. What is this?
She won't be pulling the string, eh?
I like that. Put in the street.
Yeah, certainly.
Man, George Bush, yeah, retired the last time.
Man, tell him, my man.
Look at Obama. Oh, young man like Obama, who's going to be asking for another term?
Man, tell him, my man.
They can leave our politics alone. What's wrong with Liberia? Leave the people thing alone, man. Yes. Or former sitting president, you ain't even got his strength.
No.
You still want to, cut the shots?
I'm told that she's using a walker now. I don't know how credible is that.
No. She even uses wheelchair now.
Okay, so if she's using
not just around it, but for prolonged distance.
Yeah. So now you tell me, Volcano, if this woman now uses wheelchair to ambulate, to move here and there, right? Don't you think it will make a lot of sense to just find people, chill, and then the people serve you all your food? Get me some fufu. I want to eat dry rice today. That all your concentration now. Politics, I'm out of that. So, Omar, please, man, with all due respect to you, we respect you a lot. We hold you in high esteem. Don't do this to Liberia. What type of country is this? The people give you 12 years. So that bad?
What type of country is this? Kamosawaji? I don't know what to say anymore.
Yeah. What type of country is this? What type of country is this? There's someone who wants to be president. Everywhere he goes to pick a VP, everybody turning him down. What type of country is this? The man has even promised to get $3 million, and still the young woman is dragging her feet.
And yet Priscilla Myers said the man would be the first. He is not the last, but he would be the first.
The man will be the first.
What type of country is this? The man news. Ellen would not be surprised to hear news song. Ellen go, Ellen go. Ellen Moore.
Whatever country is this, when you have a certain president and the election is a few months away and the people come away and say, yo, we are go, we are go.
Oh God!
Some of the YG, is this where police officers wear?
Oh, Joe, we are more.
Let us to work. Oh my God!
What type of country is this? Hashtag. Flomo Livingstone says that a $100 million worth of drug case is dead. Wow. The jury found the guys not guilty of drug trafficking.
What type of country is this? That's Liberia.
What type of country is this? YG, where nobody wants to be Cummings vice president. What type of country is this? But gentlemen, what type of country is this?
How many people want winning ticket about?
I did my research. Only in Liberia, that people drive with no regulations.
What type of country is this?
Yeah.
No regulations. What a light red, what a light green, what a stop sign, what a one-way street. No regulations. People drive anyhow. What type of country is this?
What type of country is this when the people make you ambassador and send you abroad? When you get to the embassy, no functional vehicle, and you say, "Oh, I don't have a vehicle." And say, "No, my man, you have to carry your own car."
You can't even get there. Wow.
So what type of country?
As a result of what I said, Moses, fatal accident the other day again in Liberia.
Yeah.
Motorbike accident that went under the truck.
Well, yeah. Woo.
Wow.
2 deaths and 1 broken body
Yeah,
Wow.
man.
went under the truck
Wow.
as a result of no traffic regulations.
Mhm.
And this is an ongoing daily thing.
Yeah,
What
but in
type
fact,
of
Francis
country
told
is
us
this?
that, right? You remember Rev of Volcano? Francis said that you go to JFK, the number of victims from motorbike accidents, the number increases every day.
What type of country is this for you, where everything has gone wrong?
Yes.
Everything has gone wrong. What type of country is this Denzel Gates, where Canada is later in hospital and phone lights being used? And let me just add, not just phone light being used, but to do surgical things.
Really?
That's wounds. Yes. You
They
put it
can't afford,
on.
they can't afford the Tiger generator, man.
My man, he's Tiger in the country.
When George Weah did first nationwide tour and went
To one of the Leeward areas.
I mean, frozen. What type
Oh,
of
yeah.
country is this, Thomas Awaji, where LEC is on one side of the street and the other side of the street is in darkness?
What type of country is this? What type of country is it when the people come? I mean, when the light turns on, everybody jubilate.
Yeah.
What type of country is this?
What type of country is this, Thomas Awaji, where the smell of JFK make you want to throw up?
Ooh,
It's not
what type
even
of
a
country is
hospital.
this? Yeah.
In a hospital.
What type of country is this that after months of salary delay, when people are being paid, the government announces it publicly? You say we pay for 3 months. So your landlord that you be owing for 4 months, my man, you're not even getting what the message, my man. I may get my rent today.
Yeah.
You get to pay.
Yeah, because they already knows. The government
The
already.
thing is already in the public domain.
What type
Can
of
you
country is this? The
Mhm.
LEC is like a community quarry.
Yeah, what type of country is
And then Denzel Gates. What type of country is this? Hardship turned youth into old folks. You know what? I think I understand the
yeah, over,
the
the house of my man, yeah.
hard time made a young man look old.
Yeah.
What
What
man
type
mean?
of country is this?
Hardship
Yeah.
youth
Mhm.
turned into old folks.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
most of
Overnight.
the time you go to Liberia and you see some of your men there.
Yeah.
The men that you grew up with. But man, the men are way older than you, ba. Let me tell the Liberian man, ba. The Brabi, they're older than you, my man. Your own man, some of them you older than too. And they
Yeah.
calling you be brother. Your own man, your equal.
They'll call you people.
They calling you uncle.
Yeah. It's
They
sad.
calling you papi.
See,
Your
yeah,
own
my
man,
man. Yeah, man.
what type of country is this, Moses?
It's sad.
Moses, what type of country is this where the hospital hold you hostage if you don't pay your bills?
Yeah. You become a hostage in the hospital. What type of country is this, my man?
Alphonso, you back good.
You're nested spinning.
Oh, you there?
Yeah, what type of country is this? Where you go to hospital and they ask you to buy your own drug.
Not only that you should buy your own drug, you must buy it from the hospital. Don't buy it from
Yeah.
nowhere but the
If you don't buy it from them, then they say no,
Yeah, for
I
you.
don't think.
Then you put yours up.
Yeah.
For yours
But
up.
are you not on video,
Deny
Alfonso?
you treatment.
I'm on
Alfonso is not
video.
on video. No, we're not saying you.
I just say you're not seeing the man.
I'm
So,
telling you, I'm not saying from my end.
but Alfonso is live. Alfonso,
I see both of you.
Well, I don't know. Maybe my system is different. I only see the name Alfonso, yeah, from my end. But let me see if I can see him from online. Yeah, it's the same old thing. You see, it's
Okay.
blank.
let me bring him back again.
Yeah, he's spinning now.
Oh, maybe his power is low on his end, but I'm looking at him live.
I'm
Okay.
seeing both
Yeah,
of
but
you. And I'm
Even online, he's not online.
Yeah, I can see his connection is blurred a little bit.
It
Yeah.
is?
Yeah.
Okay, now he come through now. Yeah, okay.
So you
Yeah.
go.
Alfonso, what type of country is this, my man?
Now you go.
The people say the 100,000, the $100 million, $100,000 drugs they brought.
Yeah.
No what? Conviction.
Yeah.
Yeah, the $100 million, no conviction.
Oh, yeah, no tea.
So we are go. We are go. That's why they put in the middle go.
Yeah. And you know the motorbike situation we're talking about with those accidents?
Yeah.
Ellen passed a regulation and said the motorbikes should not be on the major roads. They were only transporting people on the arteries. So, for example, you come from town in a taxi and you got to go into Ghanaville, you get a motorbike, you go in Ghanaville. The motorbike was not supposed to go all the way in town.
Yes, central town. No.
Now the whole thing has been taken away, so motorbike just all over in between cars and causing accidents and people are dying. That's just sad. What type of country is there's no rule of law?
Yeah, and who do you blame? President Weah.
Yeah.
You see what the people telling the man? Joe, we are go. Joe, we are go.
I remember people know how to do deal. That we are go thinking from that meeting a few days ago at the
Joe, we are
Capitol building. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's so small, man.
Yeah.
People are crying, no. Market women are crying, no. Tomiago, we tire, oh, Tomiago. Innocent people are dying, no. The students are taking home. Tomiago, we tire, oh, Tomiago. Tomiago,
Why they begin call the DJ?
I'm sleeping, my man. The metal by a call. We are go. Is that a man looking? So you can't be surprised though. Yeah.
Musicians are crying, oh. Hospitals are empty, oh. We are go. We tire, oh. We are go. We are go.
Is that the kid?
We tire, oh. We are go. We are go.
Like I'm
And look at that guy.
See the man doing what he knows best. Suppose. Yeah. But Mr. We are to you say, look, that thing here, I'm not a politician. The people force me into this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me move you out till we got our other one there.
You can't afford to deal with that, eh?
Yeah, the other day, let one more small. Yeah, the other day, we are cut her off. She was looking at stepdaughter.
Yeah.
She could barely afford gasoline for a motorcade.
She just think she eat some kind of what they call it? What the word, man? Arrangement.
Yeah,
Let me get it next 6 years. We'll see what will become of them.
I think she has to go. She has to go see the mother man so that Maggie can come back. Because when Maggie comes back again, then Joel, I want to leave it with God.
Joel,
Yeah.
Joel is not a credible person. Joel is somebody who, for so power greedy that she's willing to do anything for power. That's
Absolutely.
what it is.
Very authoritative.
She did that with Taylor.
Self-centered president.
The woman abandoned her husband who brought her to prominence.
Yeah.
Let's also talk so now.
Mm-hmm.
The woman abandoned. You know, hear Joel Howard Taylor talking about Charles Taylor anywhere,
No.
anywhere, any place.
Never. I've never heard it.
What was it better for worse?
Yeah.
Hey, man.
Just said, Mr. Taylor, you did yours, you on your own. But somebody that I really want us to take a closer look at, before we leave, Eugene Nambe, my own classmate, my own friend and brother.
You take it off.
I'm gonna take it off with Eugene tonight.
Let me put you on. Let's You also
I have known Eugene Nambe for over 30 years. We were at the university. We worked briefly at LBS. He came as head of news. He was not up to the task. He left and formed alliance with the leader Moses Blah and became an aide to the office of Moses Blah. Now, I have known Mr. Nambe for several years. Anyone who knows contemporary Liberian politics will agree with me that Eugene Nambe stands for nothing. He's a leech. He goes wherever the gravy train is. This man worked in Mr. Taylor's government. He worked in Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf government. At the time he was in Mr. Sirleaf government, he abandoned the very CDC that he's with today. The very George Weah and the others disassociated themselves from Mr. Nambe. He became a mouthpiece for Mr. Sirleaf. He became a mouthpiece for the Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf administration. And then when he realized in the second term that Omer Boaka was not going to win, what did he do? He crossed carpet to the CDC. So it's a Eugene Nambe's decision to associate with an individual or associate with a group of people is not about what those people stand for. It's all about what does he get or what does he stand to benefit. And there is a man who now claims to be, how can you be Commissioner General of the Maritime Program? You take to the airway and referring to yourself as the CDC Minister of Information. Come on, man, Eugene. Liberia has a Minister of Information, Eugene, Lejehu Rennie, a career journalist, your friend, your brother. You're undermining the function of this man. He's dabbling into everything. He said the Sirleaf administration was corrupt. But Eugene, have you forgotten that you were a spokesman of the very government that you put in down today? Have you forgotten all the terrible things that you said about Mr. Weah and the CDC when you were Secretary General of the Union Party? Where is your principle in life? Eugene, you got to stand for something. Eugene Nambe had the audacity, and let me delve into that. In 2019, after my tenure expired as Argent National President, we invited Mr. Cummings as our keynote speaker. Mr. Cummings spoke at our event. Eugene Nambe had the audacity to disrupt our program because Mr. Cummings made some strong criticism, or he made some critical statements against of the Weah administration. Then Eugene Nambe was Minister of Information. He was intoxicated. He disrupted our program. We invested thousands of dollars. And that night, everything went to a waste because of Eugene Nambe.
Wow.
The man stands for nothing. He has no principle in life. All he wants is to be a part of the gravy train. It doesn't matter. Eugene will do everything he can to be a part of that train. Eugene Nangbe, you want to take on me? I'm ready for that battle. Come.
Who's it? The man one lobster tree, man. You talking about
lobster tree?
Yeah, he goes everywhere. He goes. I mean, this guy stands for nothing.
So what made you bet on that?
I'm angry with him because if you say Eugene, journalism is about principle.
Yeah.
Journalism is about principle. This guy and I were in the School of Communication together. But Eugene has become an embarrassment to the journalism career. He's very unstable. Eugene goes wherever the wind blows. He's a flip-flopper. He has no principle in life.
Either one day the wind will blow there in the desert.
Yeah, very strong. I'm telling you, if Mr. Bwaka succeeds in winning the presidency this year, very soon Eugene Nangbe will be on that train again. And he will begin to buy more of the Weah administration. That's Eugene Nangbe.
All right. Let be so now. Let you hear from Alphonso. We're coming to go. Alphonso, what are your perspective?
No, I wouldn't go to Eugene right now. The only thing, I mean, I've known Eugene as well. I'll just be brief. We're friends. We're close. We're friends. We're in mass communication together as well. And then he started working for Sports World newspaper and all of that, writing for that. So I've known Eugene for a very, very long time. My concern is, the issue with when he was working for the late vice president, what was his name? Was it
Moses Blah?
Moses Blah, I believe. And when he reportedly was the one who transported General Mosquito's body to the funeral home, when Mosquito was actually taken to Nimba and killed there because, he was about to expose certain things about the Sierra Leone War. And Eugene is alleged, according to the reports, to have been the one who then drove the dead body to Samuel Striker funeral home. I think that's a little troubling and chilling, and we need a little more information on that. What role he played? Did he just transport the body? What did he tell the funeral home when he took the body there? Those kinds of things are really critical because we're talking about human beings and human death and coming so close, being so close to the death of a human being. That's troubling. That's all I will say.
That's Eugene Nangbe. It's all about money. It's not about principle. And let me correct there. I said 2019. When he disrupted our program in Minnesota, it was 2018. That was the year before my tenure as national president in Aja, expired. 2019, I turned over to Mr. Mason. 2018 Volcano, we invested thousands of dollars.
But Moses, I was
an alcoholic. Went and disrupted our program.
I'm just hearing about it. I didn't.
Eugene did that. We lost thousands of dollars.
Wow.
Right.
Go ahead.
So, gentlemen, we're wrapping up now. We have had enough for the night.
Yeah.
Moses, when you wear a hat, it don't be easy.
You can go on fire. Moses can be on fire when you wear a hat.
Don't kind of wear hat again.
Tell Eugene, and let me tell Eugene and his people, I'm ready for one-on-one. Let kind the issue room. Let discuss. Let's dissect the issues. Eugene, you're my friend and brother. Come. We'll send you an invitation. Come and sit on the hot seat. Let Moses send the quiz you one-on-one. I'm ready for you.
And we can't wear hat that day.
Oh yeah, let you wear a business suit. I'll also wear a business suit too. Let him come.
Oh God. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Listen, recognize our folks here tonight. Thank you so much.
It was indeed a great show.
I be real like Thomas Livingstone, Thomas Awaji, Denzel Gitz. Good to see you, my brother. Come back here again. Johnson Colley. It was good seeing you here in the issues room tonight. Fergie Moyu, of course, Mapu Hall, Priscilla Myers, good to see you. Just trying to run through some of these folks here. Jetty Scott, Cole Gloria Voca Moba, it's good seeing you, sweetie. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Yvonne Eyo, I see you and Flomo Livingston going back and forth. Jatu Sia Morris, it was good seeing you here tonight. Maria Gardell, thank you for coming through. Favor, mercy, grace. Let's continue to do this together. We can't do this by ourselves. We come here because we are vested in the problems of the Liberian people, and the hope is to see our country move forward and to get us out of the past and the past participle. All right. We really want to go into the future, and that future where the community of nations would embrace us, that we can take our right footing again and be a country that will be respected. Now our president being put near the bathroom door at the coronation of the king.
Charles.
Our president going to watch football for almost 50 days and clapping. Not our president going to Ghana on a cover until police pull you over and say, President, we are. How did you enter here? We don't know. There's no grant. What they call it? What they call it?
The commoners?
No, the one they can honor you at the airport. Hey, man.
The security people at the airport?
When you go down the grandstand.
The grandstand. Okay, yeah.
So the security guy who pulled you was saying, we didn't hear any announcement. We didn't
say, how did you get here?
How did you come to this country now? Hey, these Jackie Apia business, you know, leave Ghana now.
Is this George Weah? And the Ghanaian guy said yes. No, and you say yes. He said, the president of Liberia? He said yes. But Mr. Weah,
what are you doing here?
What are you doing here? He said, man, you just leave that. He said, no, sir. This one here, it be security matter. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead, Volcano.
Yeah, so that's what we're hoping for, you know, and so we have this conversation. It's part of the enlightenment. You may not like what we say. We may not come out as objective as you would perceive it, but at the end of the day, everyone is in the same accord, wanting good for our country. It doesn't matter the route we take. Again, as I said, and I'm sure my colleagues here share sentiments with me that whoever become president is not our matter. What they fail to do when they're charged with the authority given to them by the Liberian people. And I think it's a consensus across the board.
Absolutely.
So we'll be back here on Tuesday next week. Again, we want to say thank you so much. Gentlemen, just stay backstage for a minute or so, okay?
Yeah.
All right.